It's Wednesday, August 2. In the headlines, Jamaica's 185th Emancipation Celebration. In business news, Scotiabank and America Express launches Platinum Card. Regionally, Antiguan Prime Minister Gaston Brown renews call for reparations from European countries. Internationally, Donald Trump faces criminal charges for efforts to overturn 2020 election. And in sports, Reggae Girls create World Cup history as a team advances to round of 16. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaicans should honor their ancestors by showing courage and determination and fulfilling the dreams they had for Jamaicans to be liberated and prosperous people. In his Emancipation Day speech on August 1, he said Jamaicans have a duty to use their freedom to improve their lives and the lives of the generations coming after them.
Their struggles should fill us with inspiration, hope, and a strengthened resolve to overcome any challenge we face today. Let us therefore honor our ancestors by showing courage and determination and fulfilling the dreams they had for us to be the liberated and prosperous people God created us to be.
He's encouraging Jamaicans to focus on uplifting activities.
We are bombarded with all kinds of information, which, without context and discernment, can imprison us in negativity and impact our mental health. Marcus Garvey encouraged us to use our intelligence to work out the real things of life, not the imagined things, not the speculative things, not the fake things, not the perverse and sensational things, but the things that will guarantee a condition better than the one we inherited from our forefathers.
Mr. Holness shared his vision for the nation, describing Jamaica as a country whose young people are taking advantage of opportunities for education, skills training, and self-improvement.
A Jamaica where there is employment for all who wish to work, a Jamaica free of crime and violence, a Jamaica that is disciplined, respectful, kind, gentle, and peaceful, a Jamaica where our people have prosperity and abundance.
Leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, says in his Emancipation Day message that this year's 185th anniversary of Jamaica's emancipation serves as a powerful reminder of the sacrifices of our ancestors.
The struggle for emancipation was not an easy road. It was paved with the blood, sweat and tears of those who endured unimaginable suffering. Our ancestors' unwavering spirit and determination inspire us to carry their legacy forward.
He reflected on the work towards true equality in Jamaica.
The desire for true equality is also a call for unity, transcending our differences and working together towards a shared vision of a stronger, more inclusive Jamaica. It is only by working together that we can build a nation where every citizen's voice is heard and where opportunities abound, regardless of background or circumstance.
He says as Jamaica celebrates emancipation from slavery and the actions that brought it to fruition, the citizens should make a collective effort for the continued development of the nation.
We can rise above our challenges and find common ground to uplift nation, community by community, district by district, town by town, parish by parish.
People from across the island were treated to a train excursion on Emancipation Day from the Spanish Town train station to its Linstead depot in St. Catherine. The Jamaica Railway Corporation, JRC, says the tickets for both adults and children were sold out. Patrons dressed in their black, green and gold spoke animatedly about the various sights along the way. There was live entertainment at the stop in Linstead, where the JRC's guest performer, General Degree, treated patrons to classics from the 90s era. Our Miss Jamaica Festival Queen 2023 is 21-year-old law student Andrine Cameron of St. Catherine. Miss Cameron was among talented contestants from across the island vying for the crown on August 1 inside the National Indoor Sports Centre. The Miss Jamaica Festival Queen competition, one of the number of events held to commemorate Jamaica's 61st anniversary of independence, was first staged in 1963 and has since ballooned into one of the main features of the festival period.
In first place is Andrine Cameron! Woo-hoo! I love it! I love it!
The best in the world is Jamaica. Born and grow, black, green and gold. We island is a masterpiece from the creator.
The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, is partnering with Langston University in the United States to improve small ruminant nutrition. Speaking with JIS News recently, senior livestock specialist with RADA, Maxine Brown, said the initiative is known as the Targeted Research and Extension for Small Ruminants Nutrition Project. She explains that the university developed what they call a Langston Interactive Nutrient Calculator. It is a software that can help to formulate feed to help farmers identify the nutritional content or nutritional breakdown of the feed they are giving the animals. The partnership with Langston University, which began in 2019, also includes capacity building at RADA extension staff and farmers. Time now for the business report with Danita Rodney.
Scotiabank Jamaica has launched a new credit card in collaboration with American Express. The launch is said to be a strategic move to introduce the Platinum Card from Scotiabank in metal, catering to its customers in Jamaica. It also resulted in a significant expansion of their global relationship with an exclusive agreement empowering Scotiabank to issue American Express cards in Jamaica. President and CEO of Scotiabank Jamaica, Audrey Tugwell Henry, said the Scotiabank American Express Platinum Card will provide a range of exclusive offerings.
VIP access to top-rated restaurants around the world, American Express Premium Concierge Service, luxury hotels, platinum vacations, priority passes to some of the best airport lounges, the best rewards programs, and so much more. We have also brokered additional benefits in Jamaica, including a dine-in program at selected restaurants, as well as discounts at some merchants.
Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Monday, July 31, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.62. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $118.87. The pound sterling traded for $200.41, and the euro sold for $174.99. In JSE trading, the JSE index advanced by over 1,135 points. The junior market index declined by over 30 points. The combined market index declined by over 1,340 points, and the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by over 5,102 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 106 stocks, of which 46 advanced, 48 declined, and 12 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Bridger Paints Jamaica Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Verbal Preference, Barita Investments Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Trading firm were AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Apple Limited, and First Rock Real Estate Investments Limited USD. The overall volume leaders were Spurtree Spices Jamaica Limited with over 7 million units, One-on-One Educational Services Limited, and JFP Limited with over 4 million units. In regional stocks, on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, Calypso Macro Index Fund posted over 1,000 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, 0 securities traded. In regional business, a showcase of the opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago and the mutual prospects in Ghana grabbed the audience at the 21st Annual Transatlantic Trade and Investment Symposium put on by the Emancipation Support Committee, or TNT. More in this report.
With a visit of the Asante Hene and his various representatives to Trinidad and Tobago shores, business opportunities are being avidly explored. Minister of Trade and Industry Paul Agopi-Schoon, addressing the attendees of the 21st Annual Transatlantic Trade and Investment Symposium, pointed out the richness of Caribbean and Ghana trade.
And looking at CARICOM Africa trade, whilst our exports in goods have increased over time, the reality is in 2022, it only accounts for 3% of the region's exports, with these being heavily dominated by energy products from Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago's exports to Africa were valued at $769 million, with the top receiving destinations being Ghana, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, and Angola.
Meanwhile, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center enticed all in the room to come to do business in Ghana and with Ghana. He explained that 40% of the world's remaining mineral resources are in Africa and that the level of human resources is unbounded, plus agricultural opportunities are great.
The world today, because of sustainability and climate change, would require these significant minerals for energy transitions. And we find a great proportion of them in Africa. And so for me, and for many others who understand the dynamics of global economic growth, Africa, the continent of Africa today, and mark my words, it is Africa that is going to trigger the next wave of growth in the global economy.
Elder Kafra Kambon said the link between Africa and the Caribbean is today bearing fruit from the hard work of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago.
We have placed a strong emphasis on building and, increasingly strengthening relationships with African countries, including expanding business ties between the private sectors on both sides of the Atlantic.
Mr. Cambon said the links between Trinidad and Tobago and Africa have redounded to increased private business interests and improved government-to-government relationships. Marie-Therese Bernard for TTT News.
In market data for oil prices edged lower on a stronger dollar and signs of profit taking after a rally in July. Brent crude futures were at $84.47 a barrel, down 44 cents, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures were at $80.88, down 48 cents. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown has renewed calls for former colonial powers in Europe to pay reparations or compensation for the transatlantic slave trade. He made the call while delivering his address to the nation to mark Emancipation Day. Garfield Burford reports.
Tuesday marks the 189th anniversary of Emancipation Day. August 1, 1834 was when the 1833 Abolition of Slavery Act came into force. For more than 200 years up to that point, millions of enslaved people disembarked in Britain's sugar-producing colonies in the Caribbean, including more than 1 million people in Jamaica alone. Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown points to the historical significance and contemporary inspiration of the day and the black world's struggle for recognition and justice.
This struggle continues in the international environment that is united against the interests of small island states like ours and their citizens. We celebrate this day as we also celebrate the 50th anniversary of CARICOM, the regional movement of 20 Caribbean countries committed to cooperation and collaboration on actions that enhance economic integration, foreign policy coordination, human and social development, and national security.
Prime Minister Brown shows the clear link between the past and the present collective experiences of Caribbean people, a shared history which now underpins the unity of purpose of the Caribbean community, CARICOM. He says the regional bloc stands united in all global spaces in the contemporary struggle against injustices. That's when he made a pointed call to the former European colonial powers to provide reparations or compensation for the transatlantic slave trade.
We make no apologies about this. Emancipation recognizes the centuries of enslavement, that crime against humanity that robbed us of basic human dignity, which reduced us to chattel, that is chattel property, and extracted blood, sweat, and tears to provide the wealth that developed Europe.
The Prime Minister pays respects to the African ancestors who endured whips and chains and whose resistance and sacrifice helped clear the path to freedom.
It is in their honor, in their memory, that the nations of this Caribbean, among which Antigua and Barbuda stands tall, say to Europe, in a non-confrontational manner, you owe us for 200 years of free labor and you must pay reparations. The emancipation celebrations of today usually happens annually during our carnival celebrations. And I use this opportunity to invoke the message of emancipation into our festival and hope that we will be mindful at all times that we really are our brothers and sisters' keeper. We are brothers and sisters and should treat each other with the same regard that exists in our families, regardless of political affiliation.
The head of government says the ongoing carnival celebrations provide an opportunity to recognize and relive the cultural strengths of our people. He also praises the Antigua and Barbuda Reparations Support Commission on 10 years of unwavering commitment to promoting freedom, dignity and human rights, with a push for reparations being a crucial plank.
What are you going to do with your freedom? That poignant question from Trinidadian playwright Pearl N2 Springer's moving play, Freedom Morning Come, guided the theme, the early morning proclamation and the start of the Emancipation Day celebrations on Tuesday.
I do proclaim that from August 1st, 1834, the institution of slavery is to be utterly and forever abolished and declared unlawful throughout the British colonies.
Decades later, in 1985, Trinidad and Tobago became the first independent country to declare Emancipation Day a national holiday to commemorate the abolition of slavery. Playwright Pearl N2 Springer's play, Freedom Morning Come, formed part of the early morning celebrations at the steps where the real proclamation was read years ago. People gathered at the Treasury building to participate in the celebrations, which included cultural performances and speeches by notable figures within the emancipation movement. Daughter of Pearl N2 Springer and founder of IDCADA, Dara Healy, said it is time African people know where they came from so they can know who they are as a people.
We have a proud history, and in the work that we do in communities and with young people, that is sorely lacking. You still have boys, young boys from Laventil who make fun of African words, and young black girls who are very insecure about their hair and their skin.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the day was significant to our citizens, many of whom were witnessing the presence, stature and majesty of African royalty in our midst for the first time.
From today, the word there, which implies something foreign, other, or of distant ownership, will be changed, and we will begin to share and embrace every aspect of both our lives as ours. Meaning that on both sides of the Atlantic, African people will see the oneness that we carry within us. Then we will be separated only by the narrowing of the Atlantic Ocean.
His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asante Henny, and members of his retinue were guests at the celebration. Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Randall Mitchell, thanked his ancestors who fought for freedom and dignity.
It is a day of remembrance and reflection, a day that holds deep significance in shaping the tapestry of our nation. So today, I too am pleased to welcome His Royal Majesty who is present with us to share in our celebration of freedom and growth as a people.
The celebrations were attended by other government ministers, including Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Dr. Amory Brown, and Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Stuart Young. Kimberly D'Souza, TTT News.
Thousands of Barbadians and nationals from across the region attended last evening's 50th anniversary of CARICOM concert in the National Botanical Gardens. While they enjoyed the offerings, some wanted to see the regional grouping evolve further. More in this report from Rhiann Phillips.
A display of the unifying power of music. Barbadians join people from other nationalities enjoying performances from local and regional creatives.
So amazing. This one is beautiful. Hey, have you been dreaming? It's burning out at 100.5 degrees. Get on me that they couldn't do that.
Some in the audience spared a minute to share their thoughts on the concert and their vision for the future of the regional grouping.
And this is necessary for us to do, celebrating 50 years and understanding the importance of it. When we look at the developments that have certainly taken place within the CARICOM region, we can speak collectively of economic enfranchisement, we can speak of infrastructural development, we can speak about the individual successes that have certainly taken place within the region.
Very good initiative by the people, the government of Barbados, to put on this show, that everybody can come out and celebrate and really have a good time. It's not every day that everybody, and as I look around, I see people from all walks of life. I see white, I see Indian, I see everybody, and it's a really, really great initiative to come out and celebrate 50 years of CARICOM.
The show is excellent. We're having a great time. And I'm enjoying myself. CARICOM is great, but the country need to come together more. I think it's a bit selfish. We have to include everybody, all the CARICOM countries and the government in various countries.
Other CARICOM member states held celebrations back in July, while the remainder are set to get underway in the coming hours. Rhiann Phillips, CBC News.
In international news, former U.S. President Donald Trump has been criminally indicted for trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, with prosecutors accusing the Republican politician of attempting to obstruct a bedrock function of democracy in order to cling on to power. Al Jazeera's Heidi Zau-Castro reports.
Never before has a former U.S. president been criminally charged for attempting to hold on to power after losing an election. Donald Trump has again made history.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding.
In November 2020, 81 million Americans voted for Joe Biden. But Trump deliberately ignored the truth that his loss was fair, despite being informed otherwise by credible advisors many times, as documented in the indictment. Instead, Trump continually repeated what prosecutors called prolific lies, that the election had been stolen.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved.
The indictment lists 6 unnamed co-conspirators that likely include Rudy Giuliani, accusing them of helping Trump to pressure state election officials, the Justice Department, and then Vice President Mike Pence to fraudulently toss out votes for Biden. When they all refused, according to the indictment, Trump directed his supporters to stop Congress from certifying Biden's win. That turned into a violent attack on the U.S. Capitol, leading to 5 deaths.
It was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
In an online statement, Trump accused prosecutors of acting on behalf of Biden to interfere with the upcoming presidential election, in which Trump and Biden could face off again. The two are currently tied in polls. The White House has declined to comment. Trump has been summoned to appear before the magistrate judge here in D.C. on Thursday, and all eyes will once again be on the former U.S. president forced to answer to yet more criminal charges, but most notably in this case, facing accusations that he tried to overturn the legitimate results of a Democratic election. Heidi Jo Castro.
In sports, Jamaica held Brazil to a 0-0 draw on Wednesday and advanced to the round of 16 of the Women's World Cup for the first time. With the draw, the Reggae Girls advanced to their round 16 in their second Women's World Cup. The team made their debut in 2019 but lost all 3 group stage matches, including a 3-0 loss to Brazil. This time, Jamaica finished unbeaten in Group F. The West Indies men went down to India in the final one-day international. Here's a summary of the game.
Well, the action moved to the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Tarouba, South Trinidad for the historic first ever one-day international men's match at this venue. Well, India, they batted first and got to 351 for the loss of 5, with a top score of 85 from Shubman Gill, supporting acts of 77 from Ishan Kishan, 51 from Sanju Samson. Hardik Pandya, who filled in as the captain for today, got to 70, and Surya Kumar Yadav finished with 35. They all assisted in India getting to that massive score of 351 for the loss of 5 wickets. In the bowling department for the West Indies, it was Gudakesh Moti who had the most economical figures, who took 1 wicket for 38 runs, including a maiden over from his 10 overs. Also, Romario Shepherd bagged 2 for 73. Well, the West Indies needing that massive 352 for victory. Unfortunately, they fell way short. They got bowled out for 151, with Alec Athenaeus getting to 32, and a late order splurge of runs from Alzari Joseph and Gudakesh Moti. Both batters, they did extremely well to resist some of the Indian bowlers. Joseph finished on 26, while Gudakesh Moti had 39 not out. In the bowling department for India, it was 4 wickets for 37 for Shardul Thakur and 3 wickets for 30 runs from Mukesh Kumar. India winning this match quite convincingly by 200 runs, and they also take this ODI series 2-1. The attention now turns to the T20 format. The first match takes place at this very same venue, the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Tarouba, on Thursday. Match time 10:30 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time. Reporting from the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, I'm Sachin Ramsubag for TTT Sport.
Thanks a lot, Sachin. Now, the Cricket West Indies senior men's selection panel has announced the provisional squad for the 5-match Cool Stylish Fans T20I series powered by Black and White and against India, which starts on Thursday, 3rd August at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. All 15 members of the provisional squad will travel to all matches. There will then be a 13-member squad for each match, from which the final 11 will be selected. Wicketkeeper, batsman Shea Hope and fast bowler O'Shane Thomas have earned recalls to this format. Thomas played his last match in this format in Pakistan in December 2021, while Hope played his last match in India in February 2022. The full squad is Rovman Powell, captain, Kyle Mayers, vice-captain, Johnson Charles, Roston Chase, Shimron Hetmeyer, Jason Holder, Shea Hope, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Brandon King, Obed McCoy, Nicholas Puran, Romario Shepherd, Odin Smith, and O'Shane Thomas.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.